Hello everyone, I am Dr. Ananta Bhushan Ranade. I was the past president of Indian Society of Medical and Pediatric Oncology, which is the all India body for medical oncology. The first question is, what is your first reaction when someone comes for treatment nowadays? Well, as you know, we are in the middle of a pandemic, so whenever a patient walks in, the first reaction is very simple. Is he or she wearing a mask? And is he or she wearing the mask covering the nose? See, the mask should not be like this or just covering the nose. It should cover both nose and mouth. So that is the first reaction that we have. Then we also look or try to ask them regarding the symptoms of COVID, if they have any. These are the most changed reactions which we have now when the patient walks to our clinics. A warning that we have most commonly heard during the days of this pandemic is to even avoid going for a normal checkup, as it can worsen the situation of the patient. Your comments on that? I think here we have to decide what is meant by normal checkup, because for a cancer physician like me, every checkup is very important and fine in patients who have recovered from cancer and we just ask them to come for a routine checkup. We may not want them to do. But for those patients who are under treatment, even the routine checkups should be carried out, because the risk of cancer and risk of dying from cancer is much more in these patients than the risk of getting COVID or getting complications of COVID. So for all those patients who require emergency treatment, there is no change in what we used to do earlier and what we do now. But for those patients who are just under observation, yes, we try to tell them that come to the clinics, contact us telephonically or even consult us telephonically. We have started running such OPDs, tele-OPDs for our patients. In case of clinical visit, what is the protocol that you follow when the patients come in for treatment? Do you prefer ask patients to have COVID-19 test before treatment consultation? I can tell you one thing for sure, we do not ask patients to do a COVID-19 test before consultation. We follow all the norms that have been laid down and we ask the patients also to follow the norms. And we all know the norms. There is nothing new that I am going to tell you about. That please wear a mask, please wash your hands whenever possible with soap, or at least use sanitizer abundantly. Sanitize as many times as possible. These are the three things that the patients have to do, along with obviously social distancing. What we are trying to do in our OPDs is, we are trying to ask the patients to sit in every fourth seat. And because of that, unfortunately, we have to ask their relatives to wait outside the OPD, because patients are of primary importance to us. What are we doing? Whenever a patient comes to the OPD, before starting the OPDs, we are sanitizing the OPDs every day. After that, the OPD begins. Once the patient comes in, we take the patient's history, short history of his COVID symptoms. If all of them are negative, we take the patient's temperature and then we allow the patient inside. We are using a glass screen between us and patients, and as far as possible, we try to avoid physical examination in consulting rooms. Once the patients are finished, what I mean by finished is, once we are over with the examination of patients, we try and clean all the surfaces that the patient has come in contact with, and after the OPD is over, we again sanitize the OPD before we close it. How can one identify the early symptoms of tumor, cancer and COVID-19 in order to avoid any major consequences, and who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19? I think I will divide this question into three sub-questions. The first question is, what are the symptoms of tumor? Well, the symptoms of tumor are not going to be different. If you have a tumor anywhere, if you have pain in the bones, if your bowel habits change, if there's a change in your voice, if you start coughing again and again and the cough is intractable, these are the common symptoms of cancer which we find, and they have not changed. The symptoms of COVID are quite a few, starting right from fever, then cough, which is dry, loose motions, change of taste, and change in the smelling capacity. Some of the patients are absolutely asymptomatic, and those are the patients which are being missed in this pandemic. So these are the symptoms of COVID. Now, who are the people who are at a higher risk of getting COVID-19 and complications of COVID-19? All of us in today's pandemic are at a risk of getting COVID-19. But those who are likely to have severe complications are those patients who have comorbid conditions like obesity, those who are diabetics and the diabetes is not controlled, hypertensives, where hypertension is not controlled, kidney diseases, prior lung diseases like asthma or tuberculosis, and in some patients in whom the immunity is very less. And of course, I must mention that patients who are suffering from malignancies, that is cancers, are also at a higher risk. What are the precautions that one suffering from a tumor can take against this pandemic? Any patient who is suffering from cancer and is under treatment, whether it is surgery or chemotherapy or radiation, must take all these precautions that are being told and that are being told again and again by the government, like social distancing. They should not go out of their houses unless it is required. They should try and wash their hands as many times as possible. One should avoid touching your face. Also, they must wear a good quality mask whenever they visit clinics. So these are the precautions that are a definite must for all patients who are suffering from cancer. Especially those who are on chemotherapy and whose immunity is going to be lowered intermittently because of the chemotherapy medications. They must take some added precautions, like they must be very, very cautious about what they eat during this pandemic. There are different views. All the organizations are going back and forth with the statements like whether it happens from surface contact or not. In the pandemic, the data doesn't mature. So we are always going to be very cautious. We must take all the precautions that are needed to be taken. Every precaution may save lives, so we must take all of them. As a patient with cancer, how much higher is the risk of severe consequences of COVID-19? Definitely, the severe consequences of COVID-19 would be there in a patient suffering from cancer, because cancer is always in the backdrop and such infections can be very dangerous. If a patient is undergoing surgery, the surgical infections can be there, the operation theatre infections can be there. Similarly, the COVID infection. Patients who are receiving chemotherapy, if their WBC count, white blood cell count, is low, they'll be definitely at a higher risk. There's no doubt about it, because they are not going to be able to fight the infection as nicely as a normal individual can. So one has to be very, very cautious. The next question is, another conception is that if you are detected with tumor or are on the third or fourth stage of cancer, the chances of your surviving the COVID-19 are extremely low. I think this is a myth. Every cancer patient has the same risk of getting cancer as every other individual who is visiting a hospital. Definitely the chances of getting COVID-19 are more when you are going to meet different people. Even if you know that particular person and the person doesn't have symptoms, the person can be a carrier and may spread the disease to you. Whether the patient has cancer or not will not have any change on whether they get COVID-19. The question is, the complications of COVID-19 could be more in those patients who are suffering, not the chances of getting the disease. Is there any specific age group that is more susceptible to contracting COVID-19? Contracting COVID-19, no age group is going to be a bar. But the complications would be more in age groups which are more than 60. They would be even more if the patient is older than 70 years or 80 years. So as age progresses, the severe complications are going to be more. All the age groups have the same chance with the same behavior. That is, if elderly people restrict themselves to their houses, they follow all these precautions, there's a good chance that they are less likely to get COVID infection than those who are visiting outside. The next question is, should cancer patient delay his treatment, surgery or radiation therapy at the cancer center due to the pandemic? I think this is the most important question. All those cancer patients who require treatment, they must take treatment irrespective of COVID, because they have a bigger risk of having complications from cancer than COVID. Please do not avoid any treatments which are necessary. All those things which are not necessary can be postponed. For example, if a patient has to see a doctor, the patient is treated well, the patient is in remission, or the patient doesn't have cancer, but for routine follow-ups, they have to follow up after every year, for example. If that particular day or date is falling into this pandemic, talk to your doctors. They will tell you whether you are required to come or not. Talk to them, ask them questions. Try and speak with them throughout video conferences. That will be much better. But for those patients who require treatment, the treatment must be done. All precautions are being taken by all the hospitals and doctors from their side, and patients also should take all precautions from their side. This question is again similar. Will cancer patients be safe in a hospital if doctors are treating proven or suspected COVID-19 patients? The answer is very clear. The doctors are taking all precautions while treating COVID-19 patients. So if those doctors are going to treat cancer patients, they will be very safe because they will have taken the precautions. Now all these things that the doctors are doing, they are doing whatever is possible. Now even after that, if a patient is going to contract the disease, that is COVID-19, nobody can control it. But all the hospitals, all the doctors are taking adequate precautions to make sure that they do not give COVID-19 to the patients. Next question is, any other illnesses those are prone to this pandemic? And what are the precautions should they be taking? I will answer the second part of this question first. The precautions are essentially the same, but I'll give you some more precautions. Like, suppose you are a diabetic, please make sure that your sugars are well controlled. If you are a hypertensive, make sure that your blood pressure is within normal limits with treatment. Follow regular exercise, the most important thing during this. One must exercise at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, so that the pandemic or the COVID-19 will be kept away. Now for these illnesses, as far as they go, asthma, any other chest infection, tuberculosis, any other infection, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, kidney diseases and cancer, these are the high-risk groups which are more likely to get cancer. How can one help make the environment more sterile for a cancer patient at home? Helpers, family members, or what are the precautions they need to take when in contact with the patient? I think here the responsibility of the caregivers is very important. The caregivers also should realize that they have a patient suffering from cancer at home, and those patients are to be dealt with utmost, I'm repeating, with utmost care. For example, if a person who is 25 years and is going out and is likely to get COVID, that person should remember that if he or she gets COVID, they are likely to transmit the disease to the patient suffering from cancer at home. So that is the most important precaution. All the other precautions we know, like social distancing, washing hands, using sanitizers, etc. But this is the most important thing. Please remember that you have a patient suffering from cancer, and that patient may have more complications of COVID than normal, even if their age group is less, and even if they don't have other comorbidities. Next question is, you being a doctor are in contact with multiple patients and doctors from various departments. This exposes to COVID-19 on a larger scale as compared to others. What are the precautions that you take for yourself in such a case? This is a very nice question. We are taking all precautions so that we do not contract or we do not get COVID-19. We are following all those precautions that have been told. We are using gloves, changing gloves. We are using social distancing. We are using glass screens between us and the patients. We are examining the patients only when it is extremely necessary. We are calling patients to our clinics only if it is required. Otherwise, we are doing teleconsultation. We are using masks. We are using full masks. We are also using shields on top of the masks, caps, and for certain patients taking rounds, we are using even gowns. And in patients who are suffering from COVID, any other doctor, including myself, will be using a PPE kit. Without PPE kit, we are not treating COVID positive patients. We are taking these precautions. Should I be saying that these are universal precautions for a pandemic? We are taking all those precautions. How safe is it to undergo surgeries, treatments during this time? Would you recommend avoiding treatments as of now? As I said earlier, we are not avoiding treatments which are necessary. Certain things which may not be necessary for today, we are avoiding them. But surgeries, if they are necessary, see, all cancer surgeries are life-saving surgeries. We cannot avoid or postpone them because the surgeries are generally conducted or done when the cancer is in earlier stages. If we wait today for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, the patient may progress from first or second stage to a later stage, and the curative impact of cancer will be lost, or curative impact on cancer will be lost. Those patients who are curable today may become incurable tomorrow if we avoid surgeries or radiations or chemotherapies. So what care we are taking is those patients who have a good chance of getting cured, we are treating them as we used to treat them earlier. In some patients who have a lot of comorbid conditions whose general condition is not good and the intent of treatment is palliative, in such patients we may avoid or postpone treatments. The next question is, we have also seen your remarkable contribution through your participation in free checkup camps in the rural area. How can more people, be it doctors or common man, be associated in similar ways, and what can be done to encourage such an initiative? I think for all those free checkup camps that we are conducting, we should, number one, take care of ourselves. We must make sure that we are using proper gear before we examine the patient. We must be wearing masks, shields, PPE kits, etc. And we should also make sure that whenever the checkups are going on, patients are using masks clearly, patients are keeping safe distance, and those patients who have some symptoms, they are immediately reported to correct authorities. I think the doctors are not scared of this pandemic. They are participating in many of these camps, free checkups. But if a patient has some symptoms, or if an individual has some symptoms, they should not wait for these free camps or free checkups to report. They should report at the earliest to the correct authorities, to doctors. Please do not delay, do not stay at home. Don't treat yourself thinking that this is COVID or this is not COVID, because we really don't know what symptoms we are going to get. A perfectly asymptomatic person also may have COVID. So if there are symptoms, please report, and make sure if there are symptoms, try to stay away from people before you report. I think that is the most important thing. How aware are people in those areas about the whole situation? I must tell you one thing here, that wherever we have done these free camps, people are aware. They want themselves to be protected. But unfortunately in our country, because of certain dwelling issues, people are not able to stay at a particular distance from each other. The social distancing has become a problem because of space, poverty and slum dwelling. But people are very much aware. They want to avoid the disease. They know that they do not want to get COVID-19 and they don't want any complications, because that is going to be a huge burden on the society and the person who gets the disease. What steps, according to you need to take, or they need to be taken to spread more awareness regarding the pandemic in rural as well as urban areas? I think in today's world, the rural areas also have television, and the government has been able to spread this information regarding all these precautions that are to be taken. So what we need to tell people today, both in urban areas as well as in rural areas, that don't be scared of this disease. This disease has a case fatality rate which is less than 4% in most of the cities. In fact, it is much less in many of the areas. There is a difference between case fatality rate and infection, or the disease fatality rate. The disease fatality rate is likely to be much lower. Do not get scared. What is the most dangerous part in this particular disease is it's highly contagious, and it is going to put a lot of load, or it is putting a lot of load on our healthcare infrastructure. That is our major issue, that we may not get hospital beds, we may not get ventilators, we may not get oxygen supply, which is required when there are complications. So we should use those particular facilities very cautiously. Those people who require them must get it. Can you speak about your experience during this camp? As I said, generally, world over it is thought that Indian people will not be following precautions. We had a totally different experience. These people for whom we conducted these free health checkups, they were very, very obedient. They followed all the norms that they were supposed to follow. They did not want to trouble themselves, or they did not want the others to be in trouble because of them. This is a myth that Indian persons, people are, what should I say, they will not follow anything, they don't care. No, our people are cautious, they are aware of it. Well, there are certain people who are not following these things, but they are there all over the world. I recently saw a clip that once the pubs opened in London, there was a huge rally outside those pubs. So these people who are not following protocols are there everywhere in the world, but majority of our people are following those protocols. Thank you.